You, so poor you can only eat dirt. He was forcibly bound to a crazy money-dumping system. As long as you only earn a few dozen yuan each night, you could get a 100,000x cash critical hit. This is not a system. It was truly a miracle of defying fate and changing fate. The system is even more straightforward and brutal. Choose a profession every month to farm money, although the hint is about to encounter bizarre events. But for that tempting reward, you simply can't afford to worry about that. 3 options are laid out before you. Selling health supplements is too difficult, and suit-wearing riders are busy with agencies. Only midnight designated drivers offer flexible hours and can even earn money. You didn't hesitate in the slightest. I decisively locked onto the designated driver profession. At the moment of confirmation, the system notification exploded instantly. Post-cost income unlocked, a 100,000-fold increase. Your mind goes blank. A simple calculation. A monthly income of 3,000 instantly becomes 300 million. This overwhelming wealth makes you leap straight out of bed. All I could think about were 4 big words. I want to make money. If you want to make money, you have to have work first. You head straight to the Li G private kitchen you had been eyeing before. The boss was also straightforward. People see you fill out the form and get approved immediately, although each order costs 10 yuan for water fees. But compared to the system's tycoon rewards, this is just a drop in the bucket. From then on, you officially became a designated driver. 8 o'clock in the evening. First order arrived. A middle-aged man threw him the car keys. Eyes closed the whole time to rest. After arriving at the destination, the other party readily handed over 50 yuan. Deducted, paid to the restaurant for 10 yuan. Net profit of 40. The moment he received the banknote, a breathtaking scene unfolded. Ding! Congratulations to the host for earning 40 yuan. 100,000 times critical hit activates. 4 million yuan has been received. Looking at the long string of faces in the text message, you froze in place. He even wanted to roar at the sky. So this wasn't a dream. You really have struck it rich. He forced down the smile at the corner of his mouth. To catch up on the next order, he had already taken a taxi back to the restaurant without hesitation. After all, you hold a huge sum of money. Who still rides that battered folding electric bike? As soon as you walk in, a table full of young ladies who have had their fill stares at you. A startled exclamation with eyes shining. Wow, this designated driver guy is just too handsome. If I'd known, I would have driven here too. The girl named Wei Wei was so drunk she lost consciousness. Amid the sister's encouragement, you were helped into your car. Although facing a beautiful woman, but you have a girlfriend's heart as calm as still water. Instead, he was even more worried about whether the drunken cat could afford the fare. After about 10 minutes, they arrived at the residential complex. The most troublesome part has finally arrived. No matter how softly you call out, Wei Wei in the back seat seemed to faint and showed no reaction at all. You can't help but twitch at the corner of your mouth. Helplessly, he raised his voice. Once again, I reminded the lady that she had arrived. Only then did she open her eyes in a daze. His gaze was unfocused, clearly still out of line. To get the cash-out reward for this order, you can only grit your teeth and ask for the exact floor. He sighed and said, I'll send you up. Ringing the doorbell instantly puts you in a grand drama. Scene of the blind date accident. The Annie who opened the door was full of resentment. He also scolded his daughter for staying out all night. But when he looked at Wei Wei, it was the face that had been helped back by a handsome young man. In an instant, he completed the Thunder Lord and Mother Lightning Dao. A seamless transition from a kind mother-in-law. Hey, come inside quickly. The Annie is so enthusiastic it makes your skin crawl. Pouring water and checking household registration. The look was as if they wanted to bring the Civil Affairs Bureau over on the spot. To get away, you have no choice but to confess honestly. Auntie, I'm 23, but I already have a girlfriend. University classmates. But this sentence was like lighting a keg of explosives. The aunt, who had just been so friendly, suddenly snapped up. He raised his hand and slapped him across the face. He cursed angrily without pause. You bastard. A girlfriend even came to flirt with my daughter. Believe it or not, my mother will kill you. You reacted quickly and blocked that slap. He thought, could this be some kind of mental illness? I watched him grab the glass from the coffee table, about to smash it. You were so scared you shouted quickly. Don't throw it away. I'm the designated driver. Substitute driver. The air was suddenly quiet. The woman stood frozen in midair, holding her cup. The awkward expression on his face was simply brilliant. After explaining everything, he apologizes and gives you 100 yuan. He kept saying there was no need to look for her. But just as you turned to run, he pressed further, unwilling to give up. Lad, is it possible for you and your girlfriend to break up? You get your scalp tingling when you hear it. Throw out a goodbye.
He fled in the wilderness.
Afraid that if she was even a step behind, she'd be caught and made a live-in son-in-law. Escape from the neighborhood. Before you can wipe your cold sweat dry, the system notification in his mind exploded again.
Congratulations to the host for completing the order.
Net profit of 90 yuan. A 100,000-fold increase kicks off. The 9 million yuan has been credited. Deduct the 10 yuan commission given to the restaurant. With this order, you made 9 million yuan with tears in your eyes, looking at another string of zeros appearing in the account. Your heart is pounding wildly. The thrill of getting rich overnight is simply addictive. Tasted the sweetness. Without hesitation, you take a taxi and kill the gift, return the gift, and prepare secret dishes. Tonight, you have to make sure to enjoy this price. The third customer was a wealthy second-generation heir reeking of alcohol. He drove a top-tier supercar. As soon as he hit the road, he started going drunk. They complained that you drove the sports car at the speed of an elderly taxi. He shouted all sorts of things from the front passenger seat. Big brother, please. Hurry up, okay? This car makes me want to throw up driving it. To reassure customers, you picked up the speed a bit, no longer allowing cars behind to overtake at will. Only then did the rich kid get interested. His eyes rolled. He actually gave you a proposal he'll regret for the rest of his life. Let's play a game. Every time a car passes by, I'll add 10 yuan to you. If you get overclocked, you'll lose 10 yuan. Do you dare?
Hearing this, you glance sideways at him.
The corners of his mouth hooked up with a playful arc. Driving a top-tier sports car and playing overtaking with a designated driver for money. If the journey is long enough. Tonight, I'd be sorry if I didn't bankrupt you with a brush. This Ferrari. Hold tight. A sly smile curled at the corner of your mouth. He stomped hard and slammed the accelerator to the floor. Top-tier supercars instantly transform into beasts, roaring as it tears through the night sky. The intense push and back sensation makes adrenaline soar. 161718. The rich kid shouted excitedly in the passenger seat, watching cars being left behind one after another, until you reach your destination. He was still immersed in the thrill of speeding through the air. Bro, awesome. Fast, steady, and accurate. This technology is amazing. The rich kid staggered out of the car. He was so excited it was like hitting the jackpot. Even though he was so drunk, he couldn't even count the count. But the way he handed over money was extremely bold. I can't count it. Is this 500 yuan enough for you? The moment a few bright red bills slip into your hand, the system notification in his mind exploded like thunder. Congratulations, host. You've earned 490 yuan. A 100,000-fold increase kicks off. Reward of 49 million yuan. You froze in place. This order nearly cost 50 million. Seeing you stunned, the rich kid thinks you think it's too little. Then he slapped another 100 yuan bill into your hand. Why is it too little? I'll give you another 100. Ding, earned 100 yuan. A 100,000-fold increase. The reward is 10 million yuan. You look at the evil before you. This is not a customer. He was practically a walking god of wealth. In just 2 sentences, nearly 60 million yuan was deposited. Seeing that he was about to pay again, hurry up and stop them. Afraid that his heart couldn't withstand such overwhelming wealth. Enough, enough. The boss is generous, sending off this immortal patron. You glanced at the time. It was already 11 a.m. Walking back to the dormitory, you did the math. Tonight, 3 orders earned 720 yuan in cash. After system amplification, your bank card really has 72 million lying there. At this rate, that's 25 billion yuan a year. In 20 years, the position of richest person will have to go to you. Of course, you also know tonight is incredibly lucky. But even if you calculate based on the average driver salary of 5,000 yuan, an annual income of 500 million yuan is also a foregone conclusion. The truth is, when you're daydreaming about your balance, the system thoughtfully popped up another prompt. Funds can be converted into various asset forms at any time. You suddenly slapped your thigh. Yes, money stored in a card is just a string of numbers. Only what is spent is truly wealth. Holding a massive sum of 72 million. Buying a luxury home in the capital, where every inch of land is precious, might not be as good as it is. But buying that thing is definitely enough. Recalling the thrill of driving the supercar just now, the blood inside you boils instantly. That is the ultimate dream of every man. Koenigsegg, the legendary ghost chariot, limited to 6 units worldwide. A top-tier legendary car that even money can't buy. The speculative price had already soared to 50 million. Now that you have money, then just buy it. You can no longer suppress the restlessness inside you. So what if 50 million in cash is that? Only the steering wheel in my hand. That's what a man's romance is. The system flashed with light. My bank card balance instantly shrank by 50 million. Only 22 million remained. But in contrast, a globally limited ghost tank with only 6 units is available. Koenigsegg is already quietly lying in your system space. You found a blind spot to avoid the surveillance. His mind moved. Boom. A sci-fi silver gray beast appears out of thin air. Its streamlined body is truly the pinnacle of industrial art. Sitting in the cockpit, the moment the engine started, it was as if the whole street was trembling. The street was bombarded all the way. Back to the dormitory. You suppress your excitement and fall asleep. It wasn't until the next morning that he finally called his girlfriend, Wang Qianqian. Prepare to surprise her. But what you never expected was, what awaits you is no surprise. It's fright. For the sake of keeping a low profile, you deliberately parked this supercar, which could buy half a fleet far away, standing alone beneath the Art Academy building. Everyone around was a simp holding breakfast. Only you remained calm and composed. After all, you're the official boyfriend. At this moment, a wave of arrogant voices grew closer from afar. A red Porsche 7181 drifts, stopped steadily downstairs. It instantly triggered a gasp of surprise from the surrounding boys. The doors open. A young man with a face full of acne scars, but brimming with confidence, holding flowers. The display of the situation reached its peak. You glanced over. There are no waves in my heart. I even want to laugh. If it were yesterday, you might have envied him. But now I've driven a Koenigsegg. You see this entry-level sports car like a toy car. The next second, Wang Qianqian went downstairs. She dressed flamboyantly. A sweet smile hung on his face. Walked straight in your direction. You were just about to raise your hand to greet him, but suddenly froze in midair. He didn't even glance at you. Directly over your shoulder. Shyly, she took the flowers from the man with the acne mark. You frowned. A ridiculous thought flashed through his mind. Could it be his brother Qianqian? You shouted in a deep voice. The two turned around at the same time. Wang Qianqian saw it in your eyes. A trace of undisguised disdain flashed across his face instantly. And that second-generation rich kid named Wang Yang. He even sized you up and down as if you were looking at trash. Let me introduce myself. I'm Sisai's boyfriend, Wang Yang. Before you can speak, Wang Yang reached out to stop Wang Qianqian, who was about to speak. He spoke with a mocking expression. A toad like you should be satisfied after tasting swan meat for a few days. Hurry up and get out. Don't force me to make you regret it. You squinted at this pair of scoundrels before you. Surprisingly, he didn't feel the anger he had imagined. Maybe the feelings had long faded. Or maybe he just had enough confidence. You just asked calmly, Sisai, aren't you going to explain? Wang Qianqian was about to speak. Wang Yang sniffed. He interrupted the explanation directly. What's there to explain to a poor guy like you? As he spoke, he reached out and patted the hood of the Porsche behind him. It made a crisp banging sound. His tone was full of superiority and superiority. A useless person who can't even afford an iPhone. See this car? This is what a man should be driving. People like you at the bottom. In this lifetime, I don't even have the right to touch it. After saying that, he opened the car door. He strode away with Wang Qianqian.
Watching the Porsche 718 drive away in the dust, it was already standing in place.
A mocking smile slowly curled at the corner of his mouth. Mocking me for not being able to afford a car. You ignore the sympathetic looks from those around. He turned and walked toward the shadows in the corner of the school. There a ghost armored car capable of buying 100 Porsches of him was parked. The road to the enemy is narrow. That flashy Porsche 718 is just a disaster. But it happened to stop right next to your Koenigsegg one. Before you could get close, he saw Wang Yang eagerly open the car door, pointing at your car and boasting wildly. Qianqian, look, this is my buddy's supercar. Limited to 6 units worldwide. This car could be converted into a detached villa in the capital. I'll borrow it to take you for a drive someday. Although Wang Qianqian didn't know much about cars. But looking at the wildly styled silver gray giant beast before him. Now, let's look at the entry-level Porsche next to it. The vanity in his eyes was about to overflow. Wang Yang looked at his girlfriend's admiring gaze. The corners of his mouth were almost reaching his ears, even though he knew it well. This legendary car worth $500 million. He couldn't even afford a wheel. But bragging isn't illegal. Who can expose him? It was at this moment. You walked over. Wang Yang spotted you at a glance. A sudden look of superiority, like seeing an ant, instantly appeared on his face. And she even kicked him a couple of shamelessly times. Your wheels. See this Koenigsegg? Let me tell you, it's like playing music to a cow. You just need to know anyway. My Porsche is the end of your life, but this car is the end point you wouldn't even dream of. After saying that, he seemed to have just heard the biggest joke. He couldn't help but burst out laughing. Better hurry back and study which electric vehicle saves more electricity. Facing this kind of face-riding output, not only are you not angry. Instead, she looked at him as if watching a monkey's show, her tone playful. After all this talk, what does this car have to do with you? Wang Yang's face stiffened. Then, in anger and humiliation, he puffed out his chest. The car belongs to my friend. You scoff. It's not yours. What are you acting all high and mighty for? This sentence seemed to hit a nerve for him. Wang Yang pointed at your nose and said, "Teach me. People like you at the bottom don't know anything. That's called connections. This is called a circle. Even if I'm a beggar, as long as my friend is the richest man, who dares to underestimate me? To know such a tycoon, it's my own skill, and you don't even deserve to carry someone's shoes." The more he talked, the more excited he got. He even showed a disgusting, alms-giving smile. "Why don't you come and be my lackey? Although it won't grant you wealth and honor, but at least it can help a poor guy like you see the world." The malice in those words was utterly disgusting. But Wang Qianqian, standing nearby, sounded like a wise truth. "After following you for 2 years, I can only eat street food. Just following Wang Yang for a few days, and you can get a supercar worth 50 million. This huge gap. It made her feel as if she had lived in the body of a dog before. He foolishly stroked the cool paint of Koenigseger's car with his hand. She turns her head and looks at you with extreme disgust. "Chuan, did you hear that? This is the gap. Stop pessimizing me. We're simply people from 2 worlds. You can't give me the life I want. One must have self-awareness." Watching the couple and their unruly lovers, the smile at the corner of your mouth deepened. "People from 2 different worlds," you said as you spoke. He pulled out the uniquely shaped ghost car key from his pocket. "From now on, it really will be 2 different worlds." The words did not fall. You press lightly with your finger. The Kone SG car right next to Wang Qianqian instantly flashed its headlights. Immediately after, the sci-fi rotor door suddenly popped upward. Frightened, Wang Qianqian, who was still fondling hard, let out a scream. He almost jumped up. At this moment, the air seemed to freeze under the terrified gaze of both men, their eyes nearly popping out. He calmly sat down in the cockpit, pressed the start button. The roaring engine roared like a wild beast. He instantly crushed Wang Yang. The wave of ridiculous noise from that Porsche has rolled down the window. Looking at the 2 who had already been scared out of their wits, he smiled faintly. "The car belongs to my friend. Excuse me. Why don't I remember having a friend like you?" And that was the same mockery from earlier. But now, speaking from this 50 million yuan supercar, it was like a loud slap in the face. He slapped both of them hard across the face. "I also send you a word. Don't get involved. It's good for everyone. Step on the gas." The ghost chariot shot like an arrow released from a bow. All that was left was the exhaust of the mouths of this scoundrel couple. The parking lot was deathly silent. Wang Yang and Wang Qianqian froze in place. It was as if his soul had been drained. Her facial expressions were so brilliant it looked like she had opened a dying room. Especially Wang Qianqian. The whole person was shaking. His values were shattered. "No, it can't be." He suddenly grabbed Wang Yang's arm. The voice was so sharp it even cracked the tone. "It must be a mistake. How could a poor guy possibly afford a car like this? It must be rented." "Yes, definitely just rented for show." Watching his girlfriend go hysterical, Wang Yang's face turned ashen. His teeth were grinding loudly. Wang Yang was scared, looking at the priceless Koenigsegg before him. He only felt a chill run down his spine. Cold sweat broke out all over me. Whether borrowed or bought, people who can drive this kind of car, crushing it is as easy as crushing an ant. Thinking of this, he suddenly turned to look at Wang Qianqian, the instigator. Her eyes were filled only with disgust and rage. "Admit mistake? I was mistaken for some of my ass. Go online and check what kind of car this is. A globally limited toy of large toys. Who would be willing to rent it out to others, even if he borrowed it? Connections to borrow this kind of car. Is it something we can afford to provoke?" At this point, Wang Yang became even more furious. He pointed at Wang Qianqian's nose and cursed loudly. "Still trying to call the police to arrest them? I think you're just a ruthless bitch. I can't afford to provoke a troublemaker like you. Don't bother me again, goodbye." After saying this, Wang Yang didn't give Wang Qianqian any chance to explain. Dive into the Porsche. He stepped on the gas and fled the scene as if fleeing for his life. Only Wang Qianqian was left frozen in place, as if she had fallen into an ice cave. 5 minutes ago, she was still dreaming of marrying into a wealthy family. 5 minutes later, the dream shattered and everyone scattered. Nothing. And you, as the person involved. By now, he had long since left this place of trouble. Surprisingly, he didn't feel the slightest bit sad in his heart. Instead, it gave a sense of ease like throwing away expired trash. Back in the dorm, I collapsed and fell asleep. After all, daytime is sleep. Nighttime is your hunting ground. When I woke up, it was already evening. After a simple dinner, you showed up right on time at the entrance of Lee's private kitchen. It was only 7 o'clock for dinner. At first, the designated driver job had to wait until after 8 o'clock. Master Lee and Master Wang were chatting casually at the front desk. "I saw you coming." Master Wang immediately smiled and came over. "What do you think? Did those orders go smoothly yesterday?" Your expression instantly turned strange. Not going smoothly, I guess. Overnight, he earned over 70 million yuan. Saying go with it almost got slapped. You even run into a drunkard forcing you to speed. It's okay. It's just that there are a lot of oddballs. Listen to you. The two seasoned drivers exchanged a smile. He opened up the conversation. That's how it is in this line of work. The forest is big, and all kinds of birds can be found. I suggest you buy a voice recorder, so I don't have to explain clearly. Master Wang came over with a straight face. The vicissitudes of people. I've encountered people who pretended to be ghosts and got scared after drinking too much. In the end, it ended up at the police station. The grandson said it was to save on designated driver fees. Masterly beside him chimed in, still shaken. What is that? Last time I met a guy, he even touched my thigh while driving. I was so scared, I almost bumped into a tree. From then on, the weather would be hot again. I don't even dare to wear shorts. Listening to these bizarre experiences, you were just about to laugh. Suddenly, he remembered the system's prompt. The probability of bizarre incidents has increased significantly. The smile instantly froze on his face. If you really run into that kind of pervert, no matter how much money you pay, you'll have to peel off the skin. Finally made it to 8:30. Finally opened. The first was with a middle-aged man with a low tolerance for alcohol. The whole process was quiet. It really eased your worries just now. Delivery fee is 40 yuan. A crisp notification sound instantly echoed in his mind. Congratulations to the host for your hard work. Earn $40. A 100,000-fold increased startup reward of 4 million yuan. Looking at the number credited to mobile banking, you were surprisingly calm. After yesterday's relentless bombardment of 72 million, in your eyes, this 4 million is just pocket money. When he returned to the hotel entrance, Master Wang had already taken his second order. Just then, a beautiful woman at the register was calling for a designated driver. Master Li's eyes widened, rushing forward to flatter him. You watch from the side, curling your lips. This is old and unorthodox. I really thought there would be a drunken beauty. A melodramatic plot about falling in love with a designated driver uncle. He's looking for a driver, not looking for a godfather. If Master Li dared to have any ill intentions, I guess I'll have to spend the night at the police station tonight. Just as you were complaining, someone walked up in front of you. Around 40 years old. His expression was hurried. Then a slightly greasy middle-aged man entered. He was holding a little girl heavily made up in his arms. The man was slightly overweight, although it doesn't have a beer belly. But that sleazy aura is really hard to praise. And that girl looked old enough to be her daughter. The two of them were so clingy. She clearly wasn't a proper woman. Definitely a godfather. Bringing his goddaughter out to experience life. Your heart is as clear as a mirror. Yet his face remained calm and unruffled. After all, in the designated driving industry, don't look at what you shouldn't have. Don't ask if you shouldn't. The car started. You look ahead, but the ears had to be forced to work. Although the backline dialogue doesn't go straight to the bottom 3 lanes. But it's still enough to give you goosebumps. Honey, you were amazing last night. Does he still want it today? Little one, don't mess around. Not today, wait for me. There is availability. The man coaxed while painting empty promises. The bag you liked last time. Next time, I'll buy it for you. You hold the steering wheel, pretending to be deaf. Fortunately, the wild mandarin ducks were just chattering nonstop. No restricted level action films were performed in the back seat. Otherwise, you're really afraid of long needle eyes. They were almost at their destination. You also breathe a sigh of relief, thinking about quickly settling the bill and leaving. But the system insisted on giving you a thrill at the last moment. It's at the gate of the community. A dark shadow suddenly charged out. You suddenly slammed on the brakes and slammed it all the way down. The tires scraped through the ground with a piercing screech. Although I didn't hit anyone. But this sudden braking momentum was real. The two in the back seat weren't wearing seatbelts. It shot out like a cannonball. His head slammed hard into the front seat with a loud bang. Damn! Screams erupted instantly. You break out in a cold sweat. Hurry back and check. Although not entirely your fault. But after all, they are your customers. But before you could speak, the figure who was almost hit had already rushed to the driver's seat. The car door was yanked open. A surge of overwhelming fury surged toward him. You bastard, finally know you're back. I don't go home every day. Where are you fooling around? The woman lunged at him like a tigress. After seeing your face clearly, the movement suddenly froze. Who are you? You're also confused. Instinctively, he replied, designated driver. Hear these 2 words. The woman's gaze instantly became as sharp as a knife. Without hesitation, she went around to the back seat. With a crash, the car door was opened. The real storm has arrived. Well, you bastard, you really dare to pick a mistress. I'm not done with you today. The woman rushed into the car. She threw a fierce punch at the middle-aged man who had just recovered from his senses. Those fists rained down like raindrops. Punched to the flesh. Even you standing nearby feel a bit pained. The man was stunned. But they also know that a true hero doesn't suffer losses in front of him. Clutching his head, he ran out of the car in a sorry state. But the original wife wouldn't let it go so easily, since the main character ran away. Then let's go with the fox spirit. She grabbed the young girl's long hair. He forcibly dragged him out from the back seat. Help me. The young girl wanted to run, but her hair was tightly gripped by someone. I can't move at all. In just a few moments, the carefully painted face was scratched with several bloody marks. You stand aside. The atmosphere did not dare to come out. The gods fight. Mortals suffer. He could only curse inwardly. I'm just a designated driver. No one even told me I had to work part-time as a peacekeeper. He originally planned to leave, but then he reconsidered it was impossible. The designated driver fee hasn't been paid yet. This order ended up amounting to several million in total, even if it's a down payment. Nor would he just throw this money away like worthless paper. At that moment, the man who had run away saw his wife being too ruthless. He could only call out weakly from afar. The wife took it easy and caused a minor injury, but she deliberately hurt him, although my wife was still angry. But he still took a bit of it to heart. For this adulterous couple, throwing yourself into prison to step on the sewing machine, it's definitely not worth it. But in terms of momentum, he absolutely cannot lose. He gritted his teeth. He spoke with utter disdain. Intentional injury. I think it's beautiful. I'll kill you all first, then turn myself in. No one wants to get out alive. As soon as I heard this, you were so scared that you quickly took 2 steps back. Raised both hands high to show weakness. Eldest sister, I didn't do anything. If the killing gets bloody, a discriminate attack. Are you wronged? Fortunately, that man understood his wife. He knew she was just harsh with words. As long as I softened a little, I could get through. I was wondering how to wrap things up. When I turned my head, I saw you still standing there watching the show. Suddenly, a surge of evil fire was directed at you. What are you looking at? Get lost. You're so angry inside. I thought I liked watching your nonsense. It was simply a pain. But professionalism is mainly for money. You have no choice but to speak. Get lost. You can settle the designated driver fee. Don't waste my time. You sneered. His tone was full of disdain. The man became even more furious when he heard this. Rolling up your sleeves, you want to rush up and vent your anger on you. But you curled your lips, standing still, not moving an inch. Her gaze was even fiercer than his. Want to make a move? At worst, they could fight each other and end up in jail. Look at whom you are afraid of whom. The man looks at your sturdy build and determined gaze. The fist he just clenched instantly loosened, and he chickened out. At this point, the wife also felt that continuing the quarrel would not be awful. He took 2 red bills out of his bag. Throw it straight at you. This is 200. No need to look for it. You take the money and nod slightly. That's right. Refreshing. The beauty in my heart. This is not 200 yuan. This is the ticket to financial freedom. The pleasant system in my mind arrived as promised. Congratulations to the host for your hard work. Earn 190 yuan. A 100,000-fold increase kicks off. A reward of 19 million yuan. Awesome. At that moment, a taxi happened to pass by. You reach out to stop me. He got in the car and strode away. As for how the couple and the mistress behind him would end it, it's none of your business. I watched a melodramatic drama about wealthy families. He even made 19 million yuan in no time. This time I beat my mom. Back at the hotel. In high spirits, you handed to the cashier 10 yuan commission. He had just sat down for a short while. He saw Masterly returning, his face dark, looking at his expression as if he'd eaten a fly. You almost couldn't hold back your laughter. It seems this old man's dream has been shattered. Looking at Master Li's face, darker than the bottom of the pot, you almost burst out laughing. It seems this old man's romantic encounter was not only ruined. He probably got into trouble. I originally wanted to tease her a bit, but think about it. We've only known each other for 2 days. Shallow acquaintances and deep words are a grave taboo. The words came to his lips and swallowed them back. It didn't take long. The third business came in. This time, the clients were dressed up twice. Flashy young people. A whole outfit of trendy brands. Walk with the wind. After giving an address, he started clamoring to pick him up. Then he switched to a bar for a fun party. Although the journey wasn't far. But the standard price for this group trip is 100 yuan. As soon as I got on the bus, the two of them started bragging in the back seat. All he says is how to pick up girls at bars. They even openly share so-called corpse collection tips without hesitation. You frowned when you heard that, but all he could do was focus on driving, pretending to be deaf-mute. Arriving at the pickup location, the car stalled. The surroundings fell silent. You may wait left or right. A few minutes passed. I didn't even see a ghost. The 2 giant Buddha statues in the back seat couldn't sit still. Started calling and urging me on the phone. What's going on? I slept soundly at home. Can we hurry up? If you go too late, the booze will be gone. The perfect girl has been stripped by someone. What are you still playing for? Another 10 minutes passed. You start to feel anxious too. Business is booming today. Time is money. Usually, one order every half hour. For now, they're just wasting time. Not only does it save you from the designated driver fee, what's more, your designated driver fee is actually increased by 100,000 times the system. This delay could cost several million. No way. We have to talk about money. You turn your head. A professional fake smile on his face. The two handsome guys follow the rules. If you wait more than 10 minutes, you'll be charged an extra 10 yuan. Please urge your friends. But that sentence was like a spark thrown into an oil barrel. It instantly detonated the explosive barrel. Shut up, okay? Annoying. All day long you just know about money. And money? Are you obsessed with money? One of the young men looked utterly disdainful. He pulled out his wallet directly.
That look was like he was looking at an ant.
Ridiculous. I've got plenty of money. As he spoke, he took out a red note and waved it. Provocatively. Come on, the student barks like a dog. Bark once. I'll give you 200. Hearing this, you don't get angry. Instead, he sneered contemptuously. Who is richer to compare with? You slowly open your handbag. He took out 2 thick stacks of cash. With a loud smack, it slammed onto the armrest box. Cool, mate. You learn to bark. I'll give you 2,000, but it's not enough. I'll go to the bank to withdraw it right away. The carriage instantly fell into dead silence. Those 2 stacks of bright red bills paired with your calm smile. He completely stunned the 2 rich second-generation heirs. They originally wanted to humiliate someone for fun at the price of poverty. Who would have thought the price would be even tougher than theirs? Although they are willing to spend money for fun. But with this attitude of treating money like dirt, instead, it made them uneasy. After a brief moment of shock, a wave of cultivation frustration surged in his heart instantly. One of them gritted his teeth. Clearly, he was hooked. I don't believe in this evil yet. Today, I'm going to make you go bankrupt. After making harsh words, this guy is tough too. Staring wide-eyed, he really comes straight at the mouth. Woof, woof, woof. But before he could call for a full minute, the phone suddenly vibrated. A bank text message arrived. He looked down. The eyes almost popped out. Your account balance will increase by 400,000 yuan. Damn. The two were instantly dumbfounded. My first reaction was to encounter telecom fraud. Kaduaduo shivered and opened his mobile banking app to check. That long string of zeros was real. The companion leaned in to take a look. They were also stunned. 400,000 yuan, and it really arrived just like that. The way they looked at you changed. It's like seeing aliens, flying saucers, throwing money around on Earth. Although they can still come up with 400,000 yuan. Just look at a designated driver who can casually throw out 400,000 yuan to smash people. This completely overturned their worldview. But for you, that amount was just a drop in the bucket. After coming back to his senses, the two looked at each other. Her face burned with pain. The money is earned. But this was a total loss of face. A dignified second-generation rich kid learns dog barking for a designated driver just to make money. This had to get out of hand. How can you mix in a circle? The atmosphere in the car instantly froze. Awkwardly, you could scrape into a 3-bedroom apartment. You sighed softly, broke the silence. In this society, respect is mutual, and the cost is also the service industry. That doesn't mean he's inferior. You glanced coldly at them through the rearview mirror. Honest people are indeed easy to bully. But honest people take things seriously. You may not be able to afford it. If it were a hot-tempered person, he drove the car straight into the river. You are now 2 floating corpses. As soon as I heard this, the 2 young men felt a chill down their spines. Like a chick pecking at rice, she nodded repeatedly. At this moment, they were truly afraid. He asked cautiously, "Then this money?" You chuckle softly. Wave your hand casually. "Keep it. Otherwise, I'm really afraid you'll call the police and accuse me of scamming." At this moment, the friend who was late finally showed up late. As soon as he got in the car, he sensed something was off. The 2 guys hung their heads like frostbitten eggplants. He didn't dare ask further. He could only hold it in and wait until he got to the bar. After 10 minutes, the bar arrived. You show a blank expression and expose the bill. Driver fee 100. Wait 20 minutes and add 20. There are 120 in total. The 2 young men were instantly thrown into confusion. For 100,000, a big shot who throws it out without even blinking. He actually had to calculate the cost of 120 yuan with them. What kind of divine logic is this? But they didn't dare waste words. Pay honestly. I watch you leave in the dust. Meanwhile, that pleasant notification sound echoed in your mind. Congratulations to the host for your hard work. Earn 110 yuan. A 100,000-fold increase. Startup reward of 11 million yuan. The system reward received was 11 million yuan. Looking at the numbers on the phone screen, you feel your every pore trembling. This kind of crazy cash slashing thrill. It's even more addictive than drugs. although that last order had taken up quite a bit of time. As a result, I didn't get any new orders even when I returned to the restaurant. But that no longer matters, even though I only ran 3 orders today. Not as crazy as yesterday, but the income still reached 34 million. At this point, your account balance has soared to 56 million. This huge sum instantly made your dream of a luxury home crystal clear in your heart. During the day, you set your sights on 2 top-tier luxury homes in the capital. One is longed for, adjacent to the Summer Palace. The original Iha Imperial Garden style. The price is 300 million. The other place is even more luxurious. Yuanyang LAV is built by the lake. The detached building covers 3,600 square meters. The price was as high as 600 million. If it had been before, just hearing that number would have been terrifying. But now, this is just half a month's worth of income. To acquire this 600 million yuan luxury home as soon as possible, you have to work hard to take orders. Thinking of this, you turn and walk toward Koenigsegger parked by the roadside. The engine roared. Supercars awaken like wild beasts. You floored the gas and headed straight for the school. A top-tier supercar with this kind of presence is worlds apart from driving a designated car. The wind howled. The blood gushed. This is your true speed and passion. However, just as he was waiting for the red light, a car slowly pulled up beside him. The green light turned on. Your Koenigsegg is like an arrow released from a bow. Instantly vanished into the night. The people in the car next to him were completely dumbfounded. Coincidentally, these are exactly the 2 rich kids who just spent 400,000 yuan to imitate dog barking. Damn, that's Koenigsegg. The 2 of them nearly stared out in shock. He suddenly understood. No wonder they don't take 400,000 seriously. This is like a top-tier young master playing dumb to outsmart others. After shock, the 2 imagined a shocking secret. A young master driving a supercar worth billions. Why would he come out to do designated driving? It must be for Lian's designated driver. All the girls he met were drunk. If it were like this, wouldn't that mean you could do whatever you wanted? The 2 looked at each other. He instantly understood. He immediately decided to start tomorrow. We will pay the price too. Thoughts on these 2 little rascals? You don't know. Back at the dormitory, it was already midnight. The 4th son, Deng Jiahao, woke up groggily. He asked with concern, "Third brother, why are you so late?" "Don't fight too hard," you respond softly. Looking at the crowded dormitory, he secretly planned to become a designated driver. Leaving early and coming home late to disturb your roommates isn't a good idea, although buying a house is on the agenda. But distant water cannot quench the thirst of near. Looks like I need to stay at a hotel to get some time off. The next day, it was close to noon. You slowly woke up. The other 3 brothers were gathered around the computer playing games. Seeing you get up, the boss, Hua Jibin, shouted without turning his head. "Don't leave at noon. Let's have some drinks together." You readily agree, thinking about having money in the future. Take good care of these brothers. But the game had just ended. The 4th brother, Deng Jiahao, came over with a serious expression. "Third brother, I heard you broke up with Wang Qianqian." You shrug. Man didn't care. We broke up. As soon as I heard this, the 3-person game stopped playing. They immediately surrounded him. A barrage of noisy voices. "What's going on? Aren't you 2 getting along pretty well? Is it because you can't do tutoring and have no money left?" "Third brother, don't break up just because you're afraid of holding him back." Looking at the concerned looks in his brother's eyes, you look confused. "How do you know?" Deng Jiahao pointed at his phone, filled with indignation. Early in the morning, Wang Qianqian called to tearfully complain, saying you insisted on breaking up with him. He can't win you back. The more they spoke, the more excited they became. In their eyes, you are an honest man who values loyalty and loyalty. He was definitely willing to let go so as not to burden his girlfriend. Listening to the brothers' analysis, you almost laughed in anger. Wang Qianqian is really a top-tier player. He was the one who got close to a rich man and dumped you. Now, they're even turning the tables and pretending to be the victim. You don't have to think about it. It must have been Wang Yang, the owner of the Porsche 718 from yesterday, who left him behind. The dream of a wealthy family shattered. Now I want to come back and find a backup partner. Simply dream, go back and dream. Mention Wang Qianqian. A cold smile appeared at the corner of your mouth. Yesterday, I went to see her. I saw her drive into someone else's Ferrari. It's the kind of luxury car he talks about that I'll never get my hand in my life. This heavy blow stunned the 3 roommates. Originally, Wang Qianqian was the victim's brothers. It instantly caused an uproar, filled with righteous indignation. Damn, this is just shameless. Were we brothers lacking? It is important to have character. It is necessary to have a good look. It's just that our family is a bit poor. Third child, listen to me. This kind of gold digger who sells her soul for money. The earlier you divide, the sooner you are freed. Otherwise, sooner or later, he'd be tricked to death. It's like where in the world there isn't a fragrant grass. Breaking up is just right to embrace the whole forest. Tonight, the guys will take you out to have some fun. Watching the brothers argue fiercely, a warm current surged through your heart. This is brother. Always stand by your side in critical moments. To completely reassure them. It was also to find a reasonable source for system funding. You threw out that long planned script. Actually, I'm not sad. And I only found out recently. I have a second grandpa abroad. The three were stunned. Huh? You lower your voice, pretending to be mysterious. Second grandpa passed away. No children, no daughters. The will left all the inheritance to me. From now on, bro, I won't be short on money anymore. These words are as absurd as a movie plot. But put it on you. But it also happened to explain this series of strange revenges. The three brothers were dumbfounded. Half convinced. But in the end, I chose to believe. After all, as long as the brothers are doing well, who cares if it's money from second grandpa or third grandpa? At noon, the four of them had an especially satisfying barbecue meal. For the cost of a night, you just swept it away. Not a drop of wine touched it. Night fell. You show up at the hotel cashier on time. As soon as he appeared, the waiter gives you a strange look. Before you can react, that old hand usually comes to mind. Masterly stood up with a gloomy face. Does Xiao Shui understand the rules? He stubbed the butt of his cigarette hard in his hand. His tone was harsh. Yesterday's customer was my regular customer. You shouldn't be rushing to get orders. From now on, you can take on such orders. But I only got half the cost. Hearing this unreasonable demand, you almost laughed in anger. What kind of rule is this? Usually, she dumps the grueling tasks of being drunk to others. Whenever he saw a beautiful woman, he said she was his regular customer. This is to see your youthful side. I want to treat you like a pushover. You never back down. He fired back directly. They've signed an exclusive agreement with you. What you say is yours. Dream on, sharing the money. Master Li's expression changed dramatically, just as I was about to lift my finger and point at your nose. But the sharp cold light in your eyes forced me back. Fewer fingers. I'll point out and break it for you. The conflict was on the verge of erupting. The restaurant manager hurried over to break the ice. Whatever kind of customers are watching, whether you can do it or not, get lost. Although each gets 50 strokes. But the manager glared fiercely at Master Li. You probably guessed it too. This Master Li. He was just relying on his unrelated family ties with the boss. Only then did he dare to be so arrogant. Master Li shot you a sharp glare. He turned to pick up the new guest. Master Wang sighed beside him. Kind-hearted advice. Don't worry about him. There is someone behind him. Let's make a living. Be patient. You nod on the surface. But inwardly, he secretly sneered. People are about to climb over their heads and take up the toilet. Still holding back. Such a petty person who pushes his luck. He had to find a chance to teach him a lesson he would never forget. He was pondering how to deal with him. The first business of the night arrived. The guest was a man in his early 30s. The waist stands straight and straight. A sense of righteousness radiated between his brows. Hello. We are here to serve you. The other person nodded slightly. After getting in the car, he closed his eyes to rest. But the car had only just been halfway through. His phone suddenly rang. The moment the call connected, the man's expression changed. What is good? Coming soon. Hang up the phone. He looked helpless. He turned to you and said urgently, Bro, please turn around and head to the Hanjiang Road police station. Sharply steering the wheel, he asked casually. Something happened. The man gave a bitter smile. His tone was tinged with deep exhaustion. I'm a police officer. Originally, the brothers were getting married tomorrow. I'm the best man. He took leave on purpose. Originally, I was supposed to be the best man tomorrow. But this case was too urgent. This time, he was standing his brother up. The young officer shook his head with a bitter smile. His face was full of helplessness. After listening to these words, a sudden pang of sadness in your heart. There are no quiet years. It's just that someone is carrying the burden for you. This is the norm for grassroots police officers. You sincerely give a thumbs up. Hard work, officer. The car arrived at the police station. You wanted to get it free, but he stood firm on his principles. He insisted on paying. At the very moment the payment arrived, that beautiful mechanical sound exploded once again. Ding! Congratulations to the host for your hard work. Earn $40. Triggers a 100,000x amplification reward. 4 million yuan was received. Awesome. Another huge sum of money was credited. Before leaving, the police officer handed you a police civilian contact card. His tone was solemn. My phone number is on it. Be careful with your sports car at night. If you run into trouble, just call me. Even if it's cross-district, I can still call for help. Watching his hurried, departing figure, you gripped that card tightly. He felt especially reassured. Back at the hotel, but the atmosphere instantly turned cold. Master Wang greeted with a cheerful smile. Masterly was just nose-raising, snorted coldly. His face was full of disdain. Looking at his smug, petty face, you sneer inwardly. Jump on. Tonight is your last act of arrogance. Starting tomorrow, Li Private Cuisine will be on the designated driver list. If there are any people with the surname Li as well, my name is written backwards. Soon, the second order of the night arrived. You carefully helped the guest into the car. He silently prayed in his heart. This order must not cause any more trouble. But what you fear comes true. The car had just reached the Nanshan intersection, just about to turn right. Suddenly, a dark shadow darted out from the roadside without warning. Damn, your scalp tingles. Instinctively, I slammed on the brakes. The harsh sound of friction pierced the night sky. The front of the car was only a few centimeters from the man. Almost stopped. The huge inertia makes you and the owner suddenly charge forward. Almost broke her ribs. Before you can breathe a sigh of relief, the young man outside the car suddenly let out a miserable scream. Ouch. Then he took the opportunity to fall to the ground. Clutching her legs, she started crying and wailing. Her acting rivals the Oscars. The driver was a bit tipsy, but he was instantly startled awake. Flustered, I had to call 120. But you squint your eyes. He held down the driver's hand. Wrong. You clearly didn't even touch the hem of his clothes. This guy's way of talking is way too fake. You leaned close to the owner's ear and whispered a reminder. Hold your horses. Let's first look at the dashcam. I definitely didn't bump into him. The owner suddenly understood. Hurry up and check the records. But a few seconds later, he looked up, his face ashen. Oh no, the dashcam is broken. Nothing was recorded. That sentence instantly pushed the situation into a dead end. There is no monitoring. No video. This turned into yellow mud falling into the crotch of the pants. It's not but. You crouched down to test the waters. What about the young man? Can you stand up? The young man shouted even louder when he heard this. How do you drive? Broken leg. Losing money must pay money. Done. What evidence do you need for this? 100% professional scamming. You were just about to expose him. But the owner got ahead of the curve. His face was full of apologies. Sorry. I'll take you to the hospital for checkup. I am responsible to the end. When I heard I was going to the hospital, the young man immediately stopped calling out. He actually got up on the spot. He pretended to limp a couple of steps. Never mind. Seeing you all busy too, give me some money. I'll check it myself. The fox's tail is finally exposed. You sneered, just about to have an attack. But the owner keeps giving you meaningful looks, signaling you to shut up. Bro, I only have 600 in cash on me. Is that enough? The scammer's eyes darted around. He put on a reluctant act. Okay, 600 is 600. The rest are just my bad luck. Take the money. He turned and slipped into the alley. The action was done in one go. Watching that person's disappearing figure, you frowned, full of unwillingness. But the owner let out a long sigh, patted you on the shoulder. His eyes showed the helplessness of an adult. Brother, I know he's just trying to scam someone, but we have no evidence. Seeing you look so defiant, the owner gave a bitter smile. I've taught you a lesson. Of course, calling the police is possible. But as soon as he bit down, he felt headaches and leg pain. The police had to send him to the hospital. The doctor didn't dare to drive him away. The most important thing is, once the case is filed, the car had to be detained by the traffic police for appraisal. This deduction lasted 10 days to half a month. There will be a bunch of troubles afterward. I still have to set out the day after tomorrow. Talking about multi-million business deals. He wasted himself here for that 600 yuan. Ordinary people like us really can't afford to mess around. After listening to these words, you fall silent, though he felt stifled inside. But this is indeed the survival rule of adults. For the big boss who is about to negotiate a multi-million deal, spending a few hundred yuan to avert disasters is the most cost-effective deal. The only fault is that damn dashcam. Dropped the chain at the critical moment. He delivered the car to the owner without a word. As the notification for the payment went on, the system's celebration descended once again. Ding! Congratulations to the host for your hard work. Earn 90 yuan. 100,000x amplification reward. 9 million yuan received. Looking at another string of names appearing in the account. You make up your mind. A voice recorder alone is not enough. He also needed a body-worn body camera. Otherwise, the chauffeur world is too complicated. It's easy to drown. Back at the hotel, only Master Wong, who had long seen through everything, remained. After hearing about your experience, the old martial artist smiled calmly. It is a common thing. A professional scammer. Next time, as long as the owner doesn't shift blame, you call the police directly. Don't talk nonsense. Master Wong's words caught your eye. Since this is a professional staged accident, then there must be a next time. As long as they still dare to show their faces, you have a chance to deal with them. Soon, the third order of the night arrived. This is also a big client. He is a successful person nearing 50 years old. The car is an Audi A8. But his requests after getting in the car leave you puzzled. No need to go home. Open it casually. Take me for a ride. You were stunned for a moment, looking at the uncle with deep eyes in the rearview mirror. You sigh inwardly. It seems that successful people have their worries too. He wanted to drown his sorrows in the night. All right, let's go to Riverside Road. The scenery is nice over there. Start the car steadily, driving toward the silent riverbank. However, the car had just crossed the overpass. You start to feel something is wrong. Late at night, there was little traffic on the streets. But in the rearview mirror, there was a black sedan. It was always hanging behind a moderate pace, neither too far nor too close. At first, you think it's just a coincidence. To test the conjecture, you deliberately took a few detours. You even turned around at an intersection. The result makes your scalp tingle. The car also turned around, like a sticky plaster that won't shake off, biting you all tightly. At this moment, you're 100% sure you're being targeted. You're just a poor student driving a designated driver. Clearly, the other party isn't here for you. The target is the Audi owner in the back seat. At this point, head to the remote Riverside Road. It was like sending a sheep into the tiger's den. Your heart is pounding. The palms of the hands were sweating. Terrifying images of kidnappings and robberies even flashed through his mind. If you don't deal with it quickly, once they reach the deserted place, the consequences are unimaginable. You take a deep breath. Keep your voice down. He spoke seriously to the back seat. Sir, please listen calmly to me. A car followed us for a long time. It might be aimed at you. For safety, I'm heading straight to the nearest police station now. After saying that, you gripped the steering wheel tightly. Get ready to accelerate your sprint. But unexpectedly, a light laugh came from the back seat. The owner looks at you nervously through the rearview mirror. His eyes were actually full of relief. Don't panic. I know someone is following me. You were instantly stunned. He explained slowly. That's not a bad person. He is the partner I am currently examining. I'll let you drive whatever you want. It was to test his sincerity. The longer he followed her, the more it proved sincerity. At that moment, you were completely speechless. The world of the rich is truly hard to understand. Staying up late at night without going home to sleep. Playing this cat and mouse game on the street. All to test sincerity. This is just too ridiculous. Since there is no danger, your anxious heart finally relaxed. The next few hours, you became this bizarre pair of partners. A tool character in the game. You wander aimlessly in circles inside the third ring. The cars behind just circled around foolishly. Until 4 hours later, the fuel tank is almost empty. This absurd test finally came to an end. Although the process was grueling. But the ending is touching. The owner waved his hand. He directly gave him a 500 yuan hard-earned bonus. The wonderful system prompt sounded as scheduled once again. Ding! Congratulations to the host for your hard work. Earned 490 yuan. 100,000x amplification reward. Received 49 million yuan. It's cool. Although tonight, they only earned 58 million in total. Not as explosive as the 72 million yuan on the first night. But looking at the dizzying balance in the bank card, this gap is nothing. By this time, night was already deep. The dormitory doors had already been closed. You hum a tune. He turned and walked straight into a high-end hotel. Once you're rich, who should still have to compromise yourself? He fell into a deep sleep. He slept straight through until the sun was high in the sky. Hasty. After lunch, you look at the tens of millions lying in your bank card. The crazy plan in his heart finally broke down. Money is like a string of cold numbers in a card. Only by spending is true wealth. Open the system store. His gaze was fixed on the place where you usually work part-time. Remember the private dishes. Buying it was not only because the store had a steady monthly revenue of millions. More importantly, it was to vent their anger. As long as he became the boss, the one relying on distant relatives. Masterly, who always makes things difficult for you. He had to pack up and get out immediately, spending money to enjoy pleasure and still making money. This deal is definitely worth it. The system assisted in acquiring Liji private kitchen. The moment the command was given, the phone vibrates. Ding! The transaction is complete. 42 million yuan was deducted. Watching the balance instantly cleared. Your brain buzzed. The phone crashed on the spot. What the heck? 42 million. You had originally calculated it. That restaurant is worth, at most, a little over 10 million. How did yesterday suddenly turn into a life of exhaustion? Most of their earnings were emptied. You hurriedly checked the system details. The next second, his heart was pounding wildly. It turns out that the 42 million yuan was not just for the restaurant's operating rights. Instead, it also covers the entire building where the restaurant is located. They even bought the land. This is a standalone 4-story building. The building area is 500 square meters. including the land area and 50 private parking spaces. The actual land area exceeds 2,000 square meters. A rough calculation. Only 20,000 yuan per square meter. In the imperial capital, where every inch of land is precious. Buying a shop at this price is basically a bargain. Is this the joy of having a system? Renting is not as appealing as buying a house. Holding the property certificate in your hand is the real deal. You suppress the joy inside you. He drove the Koenigsegg 1 straight to the hotel. Just arrived at the door. A middle-aged man greeted him with a broad smile. It was none other than the original owner of the restaurant. Mr. Su, thank you so much. The boss held your hand tightly. He was as excited as if he had met his savior. I'm eager to move to this building. It has been hanging for a long time and still can't be sold. Thanks to you taking over and helping me a lot. You secretly laughed to yourself. Is it a real migration or a divine arrangement by the system? It doesn't matter anymore. Important. Now you're the master here. The boss turned and waved. He called over Manager Liu, who looked completely bewildered. Old Liu, after the notice, I'm no longer the boss. This Mr. Su is the new owner of this building and the restaurant. The words just fell. Manager Liu felt as if he had been struck by lightning. The whole person froze in place. He widened his eyes, looking at the usually timid designated driver in front of her. The brain short-circuited instantly. What an international joke. The price of usually squatting at the door. He transformed into the mastermind behind the acquisition of an entire building. The contrast is so stark that it's almost like the cleaning lady sweeping the office floor, suddenly announcing the acquisition of the group. It's too magical. If it weren't for his former employer admitting it himself, he definitely thought this was some kind of prank variety show. Watching Manager Liu's worldview collapse, Yu calmly patted his shoulder. Old Liu snapped back to reality. I have high hopes for your abilities. From now on, you'll be fully responsible for the restaurant. Yu did well at the end of the year. I'll give you a dividend. A few simple words. This has soothed the people's hearts. He also established his authority. You can't stay in the shop every day. They needed someone who understood their trades and was a tool like this. Hearing this, Manager Liu finally snapped out of shock. He mechanically nodded. As long as the restaurant is not in chaos. His job was saved. But the way he looked at you, it has already been seen from the original top-down view. It turned into complete awe. By the way, you seem to have suddenly remembered something. He turned around and casually tossed out a sentence. I'm the new boss. No need to publicize it externally. Just know it in your heart. And that masterly. Get him out of here now, and pay the price for obedience. After saying that, you turn and go upstairs to rest, leaving Manager Liu alone, disheveled in the wind. The voice of President Su had just come out. Manager Liu was thrown into a storm. To kick away a mismatch, the price is paid. They actually spent tens of millions directly. He took down the entire restaurant and took it down. It's like trying to drive away a fly. They directly bought the entire landfill. This is not a business investment. This is clearly the dull and unpretentious ambition of the wealthy. What's even more outrageous? As a billionaire boss, you still have to keep working as a designated driver. It felt like a beggar who had to buy an entire building just because he was hit with a head. But the next day, he was begging downstairs at his own building. It's simply surreal. Until dinner time, you leisurely went downstairs to work. Just as I reached the door, I ran into Master Wang, who was bragging. When you mentioned the luxury car owner who tipped 500 yuan yesterday, Master Wang's eyes were so envious they nearly popped out. Damn, I've been doing 500 for 2 days already. Forget about chatting. Give me this money. He can ride me around twice. At this moment, that disgusting Masterly arrived. He glanced at you. His face was full of disdain. Turning around, I saw Manager Liu approaching. He immediately put on a flattering face and rushed forward. Manager Liu, I saw another sign posted at the entrance to welcome guests. Is he finally planning to fire this kid, Chuan? I'll just say it. Young people are unreliable in handling matters. Masterly grew more and more pleased as he spoke. He didn't notice the way Manager Liu looked at him. It was like looking at a dead person. Oldly, pack up and leave. Manager Liu interrupted him coldly. The new price is meant to replace you. The smile on Master Li's face instantly froze. Then he screamed out loud. Open me. Why? My boss and I are distant relatives. How dare you fire me? He angrily pointed at Manager Liu's nose. Did this kid talk back to you? I'll call the boss right now. Manager Liu said expressionlessly. He couldn't even be bothered to explain. The phone was quickly connected. Master Li had just finished complaining. But that one sentence from the other end struck him like lightning. The whole person froze in place. Which restaurant sold it? Master Li's hand holding the phone was trembling. A sense of foreboding welled up in his heart. He asked unwillingly, who did you sell it to? On the other end of the line, a name that made his soul leave his body popped up. These two words felt like a heavy blow. It slammed hard on a Master Lee's crown. The price of poverty that he constantly targets and looks down upon. He actually fired him. Bought the entire hotel. This is simply a dimensionality reduction blow. Watching Master Lee roll out of the restaurant in a daze. Your anger has completely melted away. Missing individual orders to grab orders. Business really did improve a lot. It didn't take long. You received your first order of the night. The car owner was completely drunk. You skillfully start the car. Everything is business as usual. However, the car had only just driven far away. Suddenly, he slammed on the brakes. He parked the car by the roadside. Sir, please wait a moment. You stared intently out the car window. The tone was cold. I need to call the police. The car owner in the back seat looked completely baffled. He shouted with a big tongue. Report to alert. I'll just call a designated driver. How do they even call the police? You ignored the owner's complaints. His eyes were like torches. It was at a nearby intersection. A familiar figure was skillfully crawling under a luxury car. Turned to ashes. You know them all. It was the same professional scammer who scammed the car owner out of 600 yuan yesterday. It's really a narrow road. Change clothes. Change territory. You actually ran into me again. Yesterday I let you run. Today he wanted to repeat his old trick. You sneered. He directly dialed Officer Wong, whom he had left yesterday. Hello, Officer Wong? Here we go, Officer Wong. It's the price I paid yesterday. I want to report the case. The other end had just finished handling the wedding. Officer Wong, who was on night shift, instantly sobered up. I haven't had a chance to exchange a few pleasantries with you yet. He exposed the situation to the very end. Stay where you are. Coming soon, in less than 3 minutes. Police lights flashed. Police cars arrive, roaring in the roar. At this moment, the habitual scammer was pulling the unlucky owner of the order, still putting on that bittersweet story of a private settlement. The car owner was reluctantly paying for it. Officer Wong's loud voice thundered like a thunderclap. What are you doing? What's happening here? The scammer's gaze darted around. Grit your teeth and argue. Officer, it's fine. The car hit me. We were about to settle privately. Officer Wong's lips curled into a mocking, cold smile, directly exposing it. How many times have you been hit by this? His body is quite strong. The scammer's heart skipped a beat, just as he was about to argue. Looking up, he happened to run into the one following behind the police officer. The price of ruining his good plans yesterday. That moment, his face turned ashen, utter despair. Okay, stop acting. Let's go back to the office with us. Officer Wong didn't give him any chance to catch his breath. He turned to you gently and said, You are a key witness, but you don't need to go now. Just come back tomorrow during the day to give a statement. Get busy with you first. Watching the police car take that scumbag away. You feel absolutely delighted. After sending off this passenger, they were in a good mood. The system's prompt sounded late, but it arrived. But it's enough to make your heart stop instantly. Congratulations to the host for completing the order. Earn 100 yuan. Triggers a 100,000-fold amplification. The reward is 10 million yuan. Damn, 10 million. And because the restaurant has already been bought by you, you don't need to pay the designated driver fee. It's all yours. At this moment, the speed at which he made money was even more brutal than robbing a bank. Looking at the astonishing string of zeros in the account, you can't help but sigh at the dream of buying a big villa. In other words, taking on more orders. That 10 million is probably just enough to buy a toilet. Carrying a large sum of money, you return to the restaurant and continue taking orders. Soon, the second order arrived. He was a middle-aged man reeking of alcohol. Walking is like painting dragons. You can tell at a glance that he's hard to please. Hello, master. Wholeheartedly shut up for you. Driving away from the ink marks. You haven't finished your sentence. Then the other person roughly interrupted you, saying, You are God. You have the final say. You step on the gas. The car drove out steadily. He just wanted to send this plague god away as soon as possible. There was no word all the way. They were about to reach the entrance of the residential complex. Just endure a few more minutes, and you'll be able to leave with the money. Suddenly, the man in the back seat started shouting like a madman. Stop the car. I want to pee. Stop quickly. You glanced out the window. With no village or shop in front, where would a toilet come from? Sir, we'll be home soon. There are no toilets nearby. Please bear with it a little. The words did not fall. A scene that sends chills down your spine unfolds. The car was still moving with a click. The drunkard actually opened the car door direct. I want to get off. You were scared out of your wits. He slammed on the brakes hard, stomping all the way down. The piercing sound of brakes pierced the night sky. Even if you react quickly, the drunkard still fell headlong with momentum. He rolled into the roadside grass. Your heart is pounding. Cold sweat instantly soaked his back. Damn, if only the car had been faster. This is not the price. This is the funeral procession. You rushed out of the car in a panic. He saw the guy staggering to his feet. He acted as if nothing had happened. He started unbuckling his belt, facing a big tree by the roadside. Watching this guy's utterly unrepentant back, a nameless fire shot straight up to the crown of his head. It almost caused a big disaster just now. He was fine. Not only do you have to urinate, and it scared your soul away. Anger welled up in his heart. Evil grows at the edge of the gall. You rushed forward without a word. She kicked him in the butt. Bang! That kick carries all your lingering fear and anger. The drunkard was caught off guard. He lunged forward. He clung tightly to that big tree. Just peed halfway. Her pants instantly got soaked. You breathe a sigh of relief. That kick made his whole body feel comfortable. The mind is clear. Even if he was detained for a few days because of that kick. You admit it too. Unexpectedly, the drunkard shook his head. He didn't even realize he was being kicked. He was holding up his wet pants. He mumbled drowsily as he cursed. Damn, the alcohol is really strong. The stand is unstable. Bad luck. Why did you wet your pants too? Looking at his disheveled state. You slightly open your mouth. Then the corners of his mouth curled up wildly. That kick was straight. Still not driving. Why are you stunned? The owner grumbled and climbed back to the back seat. He didn't notice the huge shoe print on his butt at all. Looking at his soaking pants. The resentment in your heart has long since vanished. With a single step on the gas, he drove this troublemaker home at an intersection. The system notification sounded like heavenly music. Congratulations to the host for completing the order. Earn 50 yuan. Triggers a 100,000-fold amplification. The reward is 5 million yuan. As for tips, forget it. Just think of it as money for washing his pants. Took a taxi back to Li Ji's private kitchen. I happened to run into Master Wang, who had just returned. But today, this guy's expression was even more exciting than winning the lottery. Old Wang had just run into a tycoon. You can't help but tease. Master Wang chuckled. The wrinkles on his face showed a lecherous pride. More thrilling than a big shot. He had just brought in a beauty under 30 years old. When I arrived, I didn't want to give money. He insisted I touch a couple of times to offset the fare. Touch twice to offset the fare. You raise your eyebrows. He thought to himself, this old guy usually looks honest. So uncontrollable at such a critical moment. The texture is really soft. Master Wang was still savoring the thoughts. You were just about to look down on him. He didn't even want money for some perks. But unexpectedly, he changed the subject. But I'm not stupid. I'm already at my age. I still have to pay off the mortgage. He grabbed my hand and pushed it inside. I didn't refuse. After all, it's passive. Speaking of which, a glimmer of light flashed in Master Wang's eyes. But I had already turned on the voice recorder. When I finished, I immediately lit up the recorder. Tell him to call the police if he doesn't pay. But he obediently paid. Damn, this move is simply incredible. Enjoying the benefits. He also took a lot of money. Old Wang is a tough guy. You'll be stunned. Those who can afford luxury cars these days. His brain process was indeed ruined by alcohol. Before you can finish your size, Master Wang took another order. It took less than 5 minutes to walk. Your phone vibrates too. Just one glance from his customer makes your heart race. Tall figure. Dressed fashionably. She exudes the sophistication of a city beauty from head to toe. The most dangerous thing was the car keys in his hand, swaying around in his hand. Range Rover. Beauty with beast. The visual impact is absolutely maximized. The beauty was clearly drunk. Walking is like a form of transformation. You have no choice but to step forward and help him up. Her fingertips touched that gentle warmth. The tip of my nose was filled with the scent of expensive perfume. Your heart skipped a beat, but professional ethics instantly calm you down, and absolutely cannot take advantage of others' misfortune. Handsome guy, slow down, I'm dizzy. As soon as he got in the car, he frowned in discomfort. You immediately slowed down. You have to drive this giant as smoothly as a cradle. Calm down. The beauty turned her head. His drunken eyes gazed at your profile. His gaze actually started to stretch. Handsome, do you have a girlfriend? This sudden directness stunned you. There are no simple 2 words. It was like throwing a spark on a dry wood. The beauty's eyes lit up instantly. She looked just like someone in a state of reminiscence. The girl stared at her prey. He didn't say a word the whole way, but just looking at it makes your back burn. Unfortunately, the journey was too short. Before you can recover from this ambiguous atmosphere, the destination has arrived. Oops, I'm dizzy. Just as he opened the car door, this beauty slid down like a pile of soft mud. You reacted quickly and caught it, but his heart skipped a beat. It seemed this deal was about to cause trouble. No one home. She held her forehead. His eyes gazed dreamily at you. The acting is somewhat exaggerated, but it is very lethal. Handsome guys and good people to the end. Take me up. You take a deep breath. It pains the heart of life. There is no such rule in the designated driver rules. But to leave such a drunken beauty by the roadside. What if some careless person picked up the corpse? You can't afford the consequences. Let's walk. I can only admit that I am unlucky. You helped him into the neighborhood. That warm body. Almost half of it hangs on you. Light as a cat. But this cat's mouth is just too stubborn. Do handsome chauffeurs make money? You must have worked too hard. Don't you need to sleep? Do you still have time to play on other days? All the way, he kept asking questions like a repeat machine. You even start to wonder if you should have just left him by the roadside. I bet even the bad guys can be turned around by him. They arrived at the door. Fingerprint unlocking. The door opens. Oh no, no cash on me. I'll go inside and get it for you. He gives you a charming smile. The charm is rampant. Don't just stand there and come in. After saying that, he turned and slipped into the walk-in closet. You stand at the entrance, looking around this luxury residence with just a living room of over 30 square meters. A wave of emotion filled his heart. There are people born in Rome. There are people born with oxen and horses. If he hadn't bound himself to the tycoon system, I'm afraid I'll have to look up to this kind of life for the rest of my life. Just as you lament the unfairness of fate, the cloakroom door opened. The next second, your eyes widened instantly. Just 2 minutes. He actually changed into a set of cool loungewear made of very little fabric. Before you can react, he lunged at her like a swallow with the care of Ji Ruyan. He hugged you tightly. Boom! The fragrance filled my heart with soft jade. Your mind goes completely blank. Immortal jump. The alarms of reason go off wildly. These days, beautiful women in luxury homes would actively throw themselves into their arms. No matter how you look at it, it looks like a carefully designed pig butchering scam. She must be pushed away. She must leave.